Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Sunday Summary. I am your host, Kyle. With me, as always, is Steve. Guys, a lot to get into today, really over the last week. But, guys, today is probably the match of the season. Arne Slot versus Pep Guardiola. Guardiola. Liverpool versus Man City. The match of the season for pretty much the last 10 years. It's a big day ahead, but we have a lot to discuss before we preview that match. First things first, Steven, how are you this morning?
I'm doing okay. Just
Elaborate.
okay.
Elaborate.
No, not great. It's so the injuries that have come up in the last 36 hours or 72 hours. They're tough pills to swallow. Now, we'll get into all that today. But I was really excited to go into this game, especially with Kanate. Regardless of if Trent or Allison or whoever else was back. But I thought at least the lineup that we had been playing recently would win this match. Now I'm a little bit unsure.
I
So
think
that's how
I,
I'm feeling.
I think I jinxed it last week because I spoke about the injuries, about how, Slot's style of play kind of takes away the risk of getting injured. And now look at us. Really, thank God Trent's coming back today because, otherwise we would be back to the bare bones at defense again with Gomez playing right back and then Kwanzaa having to play center back. We're right back where we started last season. Just another stressful outing. And going in, the timing couldn't be worse going into the biggest match of the season where you need absolutely everybody available, as you were sort of mentioning. But, all of these happened against Real Madrid midweek, which, guys, is the first time we've beat Real Madrid in the Champions League in over a decade. So that's a really big deal. And you can point out the fact that, yeah, they didn't have everyone available, but you still look at the team they were able to put out on the pitch. You're going up against one of the best teams in Europe. And the fact that Liverpool were able to shut them out and frankly put on a phenomenal performance really shows where this team is mentally and, just what they're capable of. I mean, unbeaten in the Champions League, top of their respective, what do you even call them now? Not groups. What are they? I guess they're groups.
Yeah.
So, but unbeaten and going up against great teams, mind you, right? This team has the potential to have a very special season. But your thoughts on the Madrid match, Steve?
It felt good to finally get one against them in the Champions League. I will say the stakes aren't as high in these matches, right, as they are in the knockout rounds in years past, but it still feels good. It feels good to shut them out. It feels good to see Connor Bradley do really well against Mbappe. It feels good to see Bellingham have his worst match, maybe that he's had in a white shirt.
Love it.
So, and then his comments about his Liverpool move was never really legit.
Yeah.
When Madrid comes, it shakes the whole house. It's like, okay, thanks
Like,
for coming.
yeah.
2-0.
See you
Have a
later.
nice ride back. Yeah.
Yeah. What's that about, man? You think it's just kind of a slap in the face, you know? And if Trent has any dignity at all, he looks at those comments and, even he's kind of been very everyone can speculate all they want about Trent going to Madrid. I don't think he's going. I don't think he was ever close. I think we're looking at this kind of like a Jude Bellingham situation with Liverpool, where once he signs the contract, he's gonna be like, it was never a thought in my mind to go to Madrid, right? But everyone's kind of talking about it now. And do you think that the same thing that happened with Jude Bellingham, right? When Bellingham was at the Madrid Liverpool, match, and Madrid just waxed us. And then Bellingham comes out and says that was a big determining factor of whether I would go to Liverpool or Madrid. Do you think Trent's looking at this past match going, this was a determining factor of whether I'm staying at Liverpool or going to Madrid?
No, I think he's staying regardless. I think he just wants a big pay bump. I think he wants to be upwards to 300K. That's what I think.
It's a lot of guacamole.
It is for a guy that is not historically always available.
Right. And we talked
We
about
know
this
what he
with
can do.
Salah,
His
you know?
defending's gotten a lot better, but he's not always available. Like, let me see how many matches he's missed, at least in the league.
No, of course. And when you're looking at paying someone, you obviously maybe they'll structure it a different way. Maybe they'll look at if you play X amount of games per season, right? You get an availability bonus, right? I mean, there's always things to look at it that way to meet them in the middle. Like, look, we don't want to give you 300K. We'll give you 250, but we'll back pay you if you meet this game threshold. You know what I mean?
Yeah, let's see. Okay. Here we go. Well, he's been pretty darn available.
Well, see, he hasn't had
All
any
right, so
serious injuries.
he missed 10 matches last year.
Okay.
He didn't play in 10 matches last year. The year before he played in almost all. The year before he missed 6, then 2, then 1. So okay, so he has been available. Maybe the recency bias of last year is what's picking up for me because he missed 10 matches.
To be fair, I always just think about what players are out, right? And when I think about players who are injured, you're always thinking about Trent, Allison, Konate. Those are the first 3 that come to mind. And Jota, of course.
Right, but based on this, he hasn't missed many matches in the league.
I know,
which
isn't
is
that
really
weird?
surprising?
Maybe it's just he picks up these little knocks throughout the season, and he misses a lot of little time. You know what I mean? Like 2 or 3 games here and there.
That's exactly what it is. Let's see.
And good morning to everyone while Steve's looking that up. RDO, Nick Red, Rob Scott, good morning. Hannah, good morning, Mom. Dermot, Yogesh, slap that like button, guys. I'm looking forward to the match today. Let us know what you think about the biggest match of the season in the chat. And let us know your thoughts throughout the show on all the topics. We got injuries to get into, contract talks, and then we'll preview the match.
Okay, here you go. Last season, 23-24, he missed 24 games. That's a lot.
That's a lot. It's a third of the season.
That's a lot, dude.
It's more than a third.
Yep. And then 22-23, he only missed 1. But 21-22, he missed 12, 14, 17, 18 matches.
Okay, that's a good amount. Regardless, right? Let's go back to the contract for a minute. So the article I was reading this morning was essentially saying that this, excuse me, guys. The sticking point for Trent is obviously the pay. He wants to be up there with the likes of Van Dijk and Salah. And although, you know, you can look at that as you're not going to make as much as Salah, I think he has a point in terms of, look, I want to be making at least just as much as Van Dijk, right? And right now he's on 180 a week, which was his last pay bump was massive, right? He also wants to captain Liverpool. So with the news coming out that Van Dijk is likely to sign a 2-year extension, and he's likely going to be the first one to announce, the article was saying that they might even announce it on December 27th, which was the exact date we signed him from Southampton. I think that, you know, with Van Dijk signing the 2-year extension and Trent wanting to captain Liverpool, he's already the vice captain. Everything is pointing to him staying, right? I really don't think there's a question of him staying because there's only bad things that can happen if he leaves, right? You're from Liverpool and you completely just burn your bridge with the fan base and the organization. Completely. There's no coming back. You're not coming back.
They will hate him.
They will hate him. There's no coming back.
Right? Like,
yeah, everyone will hate him. There's no coming back from that. Okay? I don't care if you go to Madrid and you win 10 consecutive Champions Leagues. You will never be respected in Liverpool again, right? Even Bellingham was getting booed on the ball.
Yep.
He never played for the club. He was getting booed. So imagine what they would do with Trent. So that's the first thing. But he is the face of the Liverpool like academy, right? Like Trent, he's one of our own. So in all that said, he deserves whatever Van Dijk gets, right? In that sense. So I think Van Dijk should be on the same playing field in terms of pay, right?
I don't think so. I think Trent should be a little bit less, and the reason why is availability.
Okay.
Trent's going to, well, maybe you're right, because Trent's going to sign a longer term deal. So, in other words, whatever Trent is now, you assume that he's going to potentially get better years down the line. So you have to add that in. Virgil's already reached the peak. He's already at the pinnacle. So what you're going to pay him is what he's worth. What you're going to pay Trent is what he can be worth.
Exactly.
And what he can continue to grow into. So maybe you're right. Maybe they should be relatively close. But it's not a matter of skill that balances it. It's all these other factors. So, okay, I agree there.
Yeah. And again, I think the order, right? I think Van Dijk is going to announce first. I think you'll see Trent. Trent's contract is more stipulated on terms than anything, right? I think that's what it is. And I think Salah's probably more so about the duration, right? We haven't heard anything on the Salah contract talks, but I do want to touch on something that he said, right? In an interview, right, he said, I get the context here, right? You guys have to understand the context. But he said, he hasn't heard anything from the club. So in that sense, I'm more out than in at this point, right? So it's a weird thing to say, especially when you're very quiet all the time about everything. You keep your cards close to your chest, and he just says that, right? But Arne Slot, beautifully, I love this guy every day more and more. He says, when I look at my lineup, Salah is more in than out, right? He just flips it on its head, and journalists love that shit. Fans love that. Like, I love that wittiness of him being able to say that, okay? I don't think there's a world where Salah doesn't... I don't think there's a world where any of these guys leave, Steve. Am I wrong?
No, here's the thing. Again, the reason why these haven't been wrapped up sooner, or I believe a big part of it, is the uncertainty after Klopp left. What direction are we headed in? What's the style of play? Is this manager any good? Are we going to improve? Right? Now that we know kind of what you're going to get moving forward, they would all be silly to leave. Because, first of all, you're not going to go to another Premier League team. They're probably not going to go to another Premier League team. Right? They've all been here a while. And I don't think they would do that to the fan base. So where are you going to go? The options then become Real Madrid, maybe Bayern Munich. I don't think anyone wants to go there. Maybe Barcelona. I don't really think anybody wants to go there either. It doesn't get any better than where you're at, first and foremost. You're beloved by the fans. And I have always said, I don't think any of them are leaving. None of them.
I think you're right.
So Virgil's the captain, and he wants to stay. That's clear. Salah is right on the verge of all of the Premier League records. He probably wants to stay for 3 years, and they only want to give him a 2-year extension. That's what I think's going on there. And then Trent's a Scouser. He's the next captain. He's going to stay as well.
Right.
None of them are leaving. Slot doesn't want them to leave. None of the fans want them to leave. Nobody in the club wants them to leave. Everybody wants them to stay. So they're staying.
And what this comes down to, obviously, is during the summer when Van Dijk said, he made those comments like, I'm kind of unsure about my future. Rightly so. They wanted to see if this coach was any good. There was no guarantee that Slot was going to come in and do what he's doing right now. And I'm still a little tentative or a little hesitant to commit to the fact that Arne Slot is like the guy, right? But at every game that goes on, I'm starting to say to myself, like, this is legit, right? It's not just a fluke run. And I think today will ultimately tell us everything we need to know with the fact that Konate's out, Bradley's out. But going back to the contract talks, right? You're right. There is nowhere else you can go right now. This isn't 5 years ago, right? Or even, maybe a little bit longer than that. But when you look around Europe and you see all these other teams where, players at our club, who were doing really well could look at and go, that might be a step up in my career. It's not like that anymore, right? You're looking at the Premier League now as just a dominant force, right? And I know in European competition, Madrid is doing really well. And, even Barcelona now. Barcelona are starting to look a lot better. I mean, Rafinha's in the talks for best player in the world.
Which is an absolute
Which
joke, I might
it's a
add.
joke. But what my point being is, I mean, it's just crazy. But
Well, hang on. That's going to die down now because Barcelona's starting to slide. And Real Madrid's going to take over first place in the league. Mark my words. You're not going to hear much about Rafinha come late December and into the new year.
I think what I'm looking at here, though, is players aren't stupid. Neither are their agents, right? So you could argue, right, the last time that any move away from Liverpool would have been anything more than a lateral move or even a step down was back when Coutinho made the move, right? When Coutinho made that move, in his mind, he thought it was a step up because he didn't know what was coming. He hadn't had success with Liverpool yet. Liverpool as a club, as an organization, hadn't had success under the Klopp regime, right? But now, given that what Klopp built and what Arne Slot has kind of inherited, any move away to any club, Steve, in my opinion, would be a step down unless Madrid could be a lateral move. I find it hard to even argue that Madrid's a lateral move. As good as they are, I really do think that the best place to be in the world right now, and anyone can correct me if I'm wrong, is Liverpool Football Club. The best team to play for in the world right now is Liverpool Football Club.
I mean, hands down. Because I don't think there's any uncertainty aside from these darn contract situations.
But that's nothing new.
No, but you're right. And then as far as Madrid goes, they have so many superstars that you just become another guy, right?
Yeah.
Like Trent, they're not going to love you like you're loved here. And I think if they have the only question mark I think they have in their lineup is right back, because Carvajal's 100 years old.
Yeah, right.
Right. So
Ballon
the stars
d'Or
kind of aligned from that aspect of what they need or what they don't have.
That's the only thing in my mind that connects Trent to Madrid. If they had right back filled, no one's talking about Trent to Madrid.
No, dude. And also you got to think about the players that have gone there, like left back, Mendy, left back. Nobody's talking about him. Nobody's talking about him. They talk about the heart of the team, right? Vinicius. They talk about Rudiger. They talk about Modric. All these other guys that don't even really get the FaceTime, Camavinga, Chouameni, that are world-class players.
And now with
Valverde
Mbappe,
doesn't even get the credit that he deserves.
Right. And now
then
that
there's
Mbappe's
Mbappe.
there,
right.
No one's getting that. It's all Mbappe. It's why is Mbappe not performing? Why did Connor Bradley just slide tackle you and make you look like an absolute idiot? Right? Like
Bellingham. Like
it doesn't make sense for these players to leave. Now, I get it if you're like Bellingham, for example, deciding between Madrid and Liverpool, right? It does make sense. It makes sense to choose Madrid. It's like, all right, I get you. But if you're already at Liverpool, going to Madrid doesn't make sense. So to wrap this contract thing up, I don't think Trent is stupid enough to leave. I mean, he needs to understand he's committing career suicide in doing that. Not from a sense that I'm saying he couldn't succeed at Madrid, but from the sense that every connection he would have to Liverpool as the city and the football club would be burned to the ground. He would never be respected. He would never be talked about. He would be hated. Completely hated. So
until the end of time, Kyle.
Till the end of time. Yeah.
Until the end of time. Because of all the extra stuff. We don't hate Suarez.
No.
Right? But because of all the extra stuff here, the Bellingham friendship, the saga that's dragged on, the fact that he's vice captain, the fact that he's from the darn city.
That for me, that is the big difference, because Suarez, you get Suarez from Ajax, he plays 2 or 3 seasons. At the time, Liverpool's a stepping stone club. Yeah, we want you to stay, but you're one of the best strikers in Europe. You're going to Barcelona, obviously, right? Coutinho, same kind of thing. That was a little different because we were on the come up, but see you later. Go to Barcelona, right? We hated him at the time because of his antics, like you were talking about with Trent, right? But Trent is from the city. He came through the academy. He's been given the vice captaincy, and you would throw that away to go to that is completely different. Completely different. Completely different. So
I could already see it. If let's just say he were to go to Madrid, this is exactly what would happen. I'm predicting the future, Kyle. It's all up here.
let's see it.
He would play, and then he would pick up an injury, which we just talked about. He's capable of doing. He would miss an extended amount of time, and he'd be forgotten about across Europe. They would have some youngster that came in that would step up and take his place while he's out, and he would be forgotten.
Never play again.
The missing man. He'd fight injuries over and over and over here and there, and he would be forgotten about. His legacy would dissolve with the move.
Yep.
Dissolve.
That's the risk. And to be honest with you, that comes down to the psychological aspect of it. Right? And this is the last thing I want to say on it, and then we can look forward to the City match. He has everything he needs right now. He's home. He's playing for his home team. Right? He knows he has the starting spot. He knows he has the backing of the fans. He has this back catalog of just greatness he's built up, and he's entering his prime. If he goes to Madrid, he's starting over. Right? He is the new kid on the block. He's not the face of the franchise. He's the big transfer. That psychological impact, a lot of players can't deal with it. A lot of players can't deal with it. And if he goes down with an injury, you're absolutely right. That's what would happen. He would just rot away. I don't feel like he has that mental fortitude to get back over whoever it would be, Carvajal or Lucas Vasquez, or shoot, Valverde was playing right back the other day. I mean, it would just be I don't think he's that stupid. Let's hope he's not that stupid.
And he also wouldn't have the ball as much as he does here. They're not going to give you the freedom to roam all over the pitch.
No.
It's a totally different system, number one. Number two, you're not taking free kicks anymore.
No.
So you're just a right back, dude.
You're just another guy, bro.
But he's not going anywhere. And I hate that we've spent so much time on this. He's not going anywhere. He's not stupid.
He's not.
It's going to be some big reveal for the contract extension. Some big reveal.
Hey, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. It's just kind of annoying. So, looking forward to, guys, the match of the day, the match of the year. Liverpool and Man City. It's Arne Slot. It's Pep Guardiola. And as of recent, Man City are experiencing a little bit of a slide, right? Their last win coming against Southampton. After that, they experienced a 2-1 loss in the Carabao Cup to Tottenham. 2-1 loss to Bournemouth, 4-1 loss to Sporting, 2-1 loss to Brighton, 4-0 loss to Tottenham, and then they drew with Feyenoord. And what was it, the last 14 minutes? They were up 3-0, and then Feyenoord came back. I mean, just...
the last 15 minutes, I think.
15 minutes, 14, whatever, Steve. And
I didn't hear what you said. I think it was 14. I think you're right.
Pay attention. And going into...
Shut up. I'm reading news over here, dude.
I think it was 15. So...
Nah, man. I think it might have been 14 minutes and 36 seconds.
Well, that would be into the 15th minute. Yeah. That's where we're okay. So this team, man, it's I mean, I just want to talk about the injuries, right? Bradley's out, Konate's out. So you're looking at Gomez, Kwanzaa starting at the right back spot. Is Allison back for this match?
Dude, I have no idea.
Let me see. I'm looking at it here. Allison Becker, Chiesa, and Diogo Jota have all been sidelined recently. Tsimikas also missed the victory against Madrid due to injury. So I'm assuming they're not available. But Jeremy Doku and John Stones were out against Feyenoord, and I think they're going to be a game time decision. Diaz was back in City's matchday squad for Feyenoord, unused substitute, so he'll probably play today. Oscar Bob, what a name. Mateo Kovacic and Rodri are all longer-term absentees. So this should be an even, dude, this should be an even matchup. Like I'm telling you, this is going to be, it'll be a typical match, a top tier match where first 10 minutes are shaky, right? And then the teams will start to feel each other out, and then you're going to get big chances, right? I don't know if City are ready because Pep has not played against Arne Slot. I don't think he has. Maybe in Europe once, but I don't know. I don't know if City are ready for Liverpool's new style of play. Like the quick passing, the overloads, the just completely different style compared to Klopp. How do you think this is going to look out on the pitch? Do you think City are going to be able to keep Liverpool out of their attacking half?
Well, I think we're okay with letting the other team have more possession these days. So I think the game might look more balanced. It's just going to be a matter of who can minimize the big chances that you mentioned are inevitable. And I'm not going to lie, Kyle, I don't feel great about this game.
Is it because of the injuries?
That's a big part of it. The Konate piece is a big part of it. For me, it's the desperation that Manchester City have. Whenever they absolutely have to turn it around, they do. Typically, right? This is a dagger in their hearts if we win this match. If we take all 3 points, it's a dagger to them. They know they need this way more than we do. Now, we need this, don't get me wrong, but they actually need this or they're in dark, deep waters. So I just think that desperation is going to make it tough for us today. At the end of the day, we have mentality monsters on the pitch. This is not the same team that we had years ago, even when we were so good. The likes of McAllister these days, the way Salah's playing, still having Virgil van Dijk, Gakpo and Diaz that are absolute killers up front. Jones, who's playing out of his skin.
Jones is incredible recently.
And Trent's going to bring that fire if he plays, right? I feel more comfortable with the team that we have now than the team that we had a few years ago. Because I think there's just more, there's less predictability. There's players from all different parts of the, for me, it's McAllister's a really, really big piece here. He's an X factor in a game like this. It's not your typical Hendo, right? It's not your typical Milner. On all those matchups we saw, Gini Wijnaldum, Fabinho, it's different now, dude.
It is so
Gravenberch.
It's so different.
These guys are skilled.
Skilled.
These are skilled footballers.
You took the words out of my mouth, dude. You're looking at Milner, Hendo, and Wijnaldum as just consistent, hardworking, just professional footballers. Notice I didn't say skilled, right? Because of course they have skill, but they're not McAllister. They're not Gravenberch. They're not going to give you a little drop of the shoulder and dribble past you. You know, they're not going to, they're just different. It's a complete, I love what you said. It's not the team of a few years ago. Now, I think Slot has done an incredible job of not bringing in a single player of his own, but taking this team and making it his team, making them his players, right? And taking the likes of Jones. And Jones, like you said, Jones is playing out of his skin. I wouldn't be surprised if you saw Jones, McAllister, and Gravenberch start this game.
I think that's what you'll see.
I really wouldn't. I mean, Soboslai, good for him. He got a goal. Jones is just different. Jones is different. I have talked to so many, not so many, but I've talked to Liverpool fans around here, and they don't rate Jones that highly, bro, if you could believe that. I've said, what do you think of Curtis Jones? They're like, just, I don't really rate him that highly. I don't like his style of play. Curtis Jones, for me, passes every eye test. Okay, he's great on the ball. He's a phenomenal passer. When he gets chances, he converts. And this season, he's only 23. Ross pointed this out in the group chat. He's only 23 years old. I think Curtis Jones, we're just getting to see the beginning of what Curtis Jones is capable of. And now that he's playing in more of an attacking role with this double pivot of McAllister and Gravenberch, he's given that freedom to go forward. We're seeing more of what Curtis Jones was doing at the youth level at Liverpool. The more attack-minded playmaker that Curtis Jones is, that everyone wants Soboslai to be. Curtis Jones has stepped into that role and said, "Look, I can do a job."
So Curtis Jones, fun fact for those of you that don't know, is the most accurate passing midfielder in Europe's top 5 leagues.
That is
his pass completion percentage is like 95, 94 and some change. Yeah. Yeah. So he's like, to me, he's like Genie Wijnaldum, but a better version.
Wow.
A little bit more attacking prowess. Yep.
That's an incredible stat. And thank you to Liz for keeping the channel going. I appreciate the support. Pretty much gifting a channel membership every week now. Thank you very much, Liz. And, Ardio's a big fan of Jones. Absolutely. Gary says Nunez has to score today. I want to point out how good of a game Nunez had against Madrid. Tons of chances. And really, they weren't blown chances. They were like, he got in the right position, barely missed the net on that header. There was another chance he had, too, in the first half, and I can't remember. But, dude, Nunez, he's looking better and better. Would you agree?
I love Darwin Nunez, man. He's going to press his ass off today. And that's what he needs to do. Put pressure on those guys on the back line. Akanji, Ake, Diaz if he plays. Put pressure on them. Just be a nuisance all match. If you need to come off at the 60th minute because you're dead tired, fine. The other difference now in the lineup that we have is the depth, right? In the past, you'd be lucky if Jota was fit enough to bring him on as a sub. In years past. Then you have Keita sliding in, Oxlade-Chamberlain, right? These guys that would come off the bench for us. It wasn't pretty.
Dude, the gap, I'm going to interrupt you for a second and then have you keep going. The gap in skill is remarkably different. Like, I don't know if maybe all those other guys, they had the skill, but because they were playing in Klopp's, system, they had to be a certain type of player and they couldn't express that skill. Or if it's just the fact that every midfielder we have now and forward is so remarkably skilled. They're incredible. I don't know. It's just
I think it's just a difference in quality and skill. But nowadays you can bring Soboslai off the bench, you can bring Gakpo off the bench, you can bring Diaz off the bench. If Jota's fit, you can bring him off the bench. Sometimes Darwin's coming off the bench. There's so many different things you can do. You bring Bradley in, right? You can bring in Elliott if he's fit. It's nuts.
And Elliott is now fit, and so we'll likely see him playing.
I don't know about today.
You don't
think? Depends how the match goes, but we'll see.
Yeah, that's true. I wanted to pull up something here. I wanted to see if some team play here. Well, this is all. Oh, that's why. Let's do this season. So, starting lineup for today, I do think Jones. I think Jones starts, dude. I think that's the smart play today. I think that Soboslai, like you said, comes off the bench. And then I think Diaz starts. I think Nunez starts, and I think Salah starts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you're right. I wouldn't be surprised to see Gakpo over Diaz. but
And
I think I would pick Diaz today.
right. And Gakpo's going to play. There's no question. But I think what happens is Gakpo comes on for Nunez, right? I think if Diaz plays this game, absolutely plays this game, I think if anything, Gakpo and Darwin are kind of a game time decision on who starts, right? Am I wrong in saying that?
I think Darwin starts. No, you're right. I think Darwin starts, though. Just, again,
No, I
it's
agree.
all about the pressure that he's going to bring. If he gets a goal, great. You know he'll get in behind. You know he's got an engine like no other. But to me, it's like we don't do that high, intense, high line anymore. It's not heavy metal football anymore. Darwin is perfect to be that one guy that's just going to run all over the park and press and make them make faster decisions. And who knows, maybe force a mistake. So
I'm looking at the statistics here offensively for Man City and Liverpool. They're pretty much dead even. Liverpool have 24 goals this season, Man City with 22. Big chances created, Liverpool with 36, Man City with 30. So even despite Man City's recent slide, I mean, in the Premier League at least, this is the match you live for, man. This team ultimately is going to give Liverpool probably, in my opinion, the hardest matchup they've had this season. I think Gomez is ready, though. I think Gomez starting at right back. I think we're just going to see. I think he's at
right
the
back?
age now at right back.
Center back. No?
Well, who's going to play right back?
Trent.
Is Trent? Oh, Trent's healthy. Oh yeah,
I think so.
We talked about this. Okay, so
I think
never
he's
mind.
been gearing up for this match. But don't forget, we're home.
Right.
That is huge.
Yeah.
That place needs to be rocking.
It will be.
To carry us over the finish line. It has to be. They have to blow the freaking roof off that roofless building.
Seriously. I think they will, though. I mean, you heard it against Madrid, man. That it's such a different atmosphere. Like if we're playing a Premier League game against Bournemouth at home and there's just like silence. You hear like 7 dudes up in the cop chanting, but then the place is this match is going to be epic, man. It's going to be epic. And last year, I think the Anfield match was at 7:30. It was an early match against Man City. Thank God it's not an early match anymore. I mean, this is prime time football, and I'm pumped for it. Now, Steve, I gave you my prediction. Who do you think starts for Liverpool?
Gomez at center back, Trent at right back. I'm going to go with the same lineup that you went with. McAllister grabbing Birch Jones. Up top, we're going to go Diaz, Nunez, Salah. Bring Gakpo in the 65th minute for whoever's more tired up top. Bring Soboslai in if you need him. If not, slide in Endo. Who knows? Hopefully we're up and we're just in there to close it out.
Now, score predictions, dude. I feel like I want this to be a high-scoring game, man, but I really don't. I feel like I'm going to look at the ads or the odds because I feel like it's just going to be a draw. I just feel like it's going to be a draw. Oh, God. I don't even know what all this means, dude. What is the money line for Liverpool odds? What does that mean? You're muted.
Money line means who you think's going to win the game, basically, without a spread included.
Okay. So
in other words, the margin of victory does not matter. It's just who's going to win.
So if Liverpool are plus, that means they're not favorited, right?
They are favorited if they're plus.
I thought minus meant you're favored. Or you're
so
See, I don't know anything about betting.
Liverpool, they're both plus from what I'm seeing here.
Okay, so neither team's favorited then.
Liverpool's less plus, so they would be favorited.
Right.
Basically what that means is whoever you pick to win, you're going to win more if you choose Man City.
That makes sense. Okay.
But having both teams at a plus means it's meant to be really tight and one's not heavily favored over the other.
But the less plus you are, the more favorited.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Okay, so then Liverpool are plus 115 City are
Because
plus.
essentially you win less if you pick them.
That makes sense. Okay. So Man City are plus 230. A draw is plus 275. So again, a draw is favored. Liverpool are much more favored to actually win the match than Man City. And why, I don't know why it keeps doing that. Here we go. I'm seeing all sorts of different odds here, but looks like there's going to be a draw.
We're slightly favored.
I certainly
Probably
hope
because we're home. But I think if Konate was fit, the odds would look much different.
Oh, dude, can I look? I know we kind of previewed the match a little bit, but I just want to talk about something real quick. I want to talk about Federico Chiesa, guys. I want to talk about Federico Chiesa. Okay. It's becoming clearer to me the longer that time goes on that there was a reason he was 8 million. Right? When we first got him, a lot of people looked at that like, how did they get that? How is that even possible? Right? Yeah, ever since his, ACL injury, he's kind of fallen off a little bit, but the talent's there. How did they get him for 8 million? This man is Arthur 2.0. That is exactly what he is. Okay, Steven, it's December 1st, and he's played 2 or 3 matches.
I think he's back now. But yeah, he's only played like 100 minutes.
And going into this time of year, we're going to need him available, no?
Yeah, I think he's back now. I think he's available for selection.
Only took him 3 months.
Oh, I know, dude. I think they were trying to be very careful with him and manage. I mean, he's new to English football, right? So there's the injury aspect and then just getting him up to speed. But I think he's back now. I'm not gonna entertain him moving to Napoli or going back to Italy. There's a lot of reports that could happen.
Oh, I haven't seen any of that. I haven't seen any of that.
No.
Yeah, Gary said he lost his leg. So, I mean, that's always a possibility.
He'll be all right. It hasn't been that long. It's just like we're eager to see him, and now that buzz has worn off, and we just are fed up and ready for you to get back on the pitch. But we need to bring that same energy for Jota as well.
Fair.
Let's go.
That's a great
Somebody
point.
fell on you. Let's go.
Damn. That's a good point.
Here's what I think. If that same thing happened to Darwin Nunez, he'd miss 2 matches. And he'd be back. I don't even know what Jota's injury is, but I think it was when that dude fell on him. I don't remember. But what are we doing? What are we doing, dude? Your career's wasting away. It's time to come back.
I mean, we can say that all we want, but everyone's body responds to injuries differently, no?
Yeah, but dude, just think about what I said. Would Darwin be back already?
No, I know, but if it's actually a structural injury, like there's something physically wrong, not just like I'm hurting.
Then yeah, I guess that's kind of out of his control because the body just needs to take time to heal on its own.
Right. And but I'm playing both sides of the fence here. I'm criticizing Chiesa for not being available, but it might be his body. But at the same time, Jota is out. Every season he's been here, he's been out for 2 or 3 months. Same time of year. Starts out hot. He's injured for 2 or 3 months. Comes back to the end of the season. He does well. He ends with like 10 goals. I mean, every season he does the same exact thing. And it's great. It's awesome when he plays. But I think we forget how important Jota is. I mean, because of how we've been performing without him, but Jota is such a phenomenal player. Imagine what he's capable of when he's available for 38 games. I see a really hot take here from Gary saying, sell Jota, sign Yurikaris of Sporting.
No, thanks.
Yeah, I'm good. Shayna, what's going on?
I mean, he's a good player, but I don't think I want to sell Jota for him.
I don't think anyone wants to sell.
Chilton's not worth a ton. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, for us, he is. I mean, for us,
Excellent.
He's excellent for us. So I see some score predictions coming in here. We got Ross 2-1 to us. Gary going Liverpool 5-0. Nunez hat trick. Jones with a brace. Holy crap. What a game that would be. Stellar says, I think 1-1 is the most likely score. And I agree with you there. I feel like 1-1. I can't see it being a high scoring game. I really can't.
This is what I believe as well. What Liz is saying here. 2-1.
2-1. Like a late goal. It's got to be a late goal.
I hope not, dude. I can't take that stress.
Oh, I know. You know what popped up on my feed? This is one of Steve's favorite goals of all time. It was just, an old Man City Liverpool game. I was trying to identify. I was like, oh, what game is this? It was like a little clip that came up. And then I see the ball roll outside the box. And then I'm like,
here it comes.
I was like, this is the Fabinho goal, isn't it? Strikes it. Vapor trail from the ball, dude.
Fabinho!
What a hit!
Oh, my God. That goal and Salah's goal versus Chelsea are my two favorite of all time.
Oh, dude. It's got it for me. It's Salah's goal against Man City, where he just dribbles through the entire defense. That one. And then, oh, dude, I feel like this wasn't even an important goal, but Firmino's volley against Stoke from like 40 yards out, he takes his shirt off. Just a screamer.
Yep. The other one I like is Firmino's chip when he bodied Stones out of the way against Man City. That was a great one. And then Mane had a left-footed screamer against City as well. That was fucking gorgeous.
Yeah, if we're talking City goals now, I mean, yeah.
Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain.
Right. I mean, there's some nice goals. Yeah, I think that Firmino chip was really nice. And what solid Chelsea goal are you talking about?
The screamer top left over Kepa.
Oh.
That's the best goal he's ever scored.
That was a crazy goal. No, dude, that man said, that's the best like power goal, screamer goal he scored. But the goal against Man City, that's his greatest goal ever scored.
I don't know.
It's the greatest goal he's ever scored.
I don't know. He had one similar where he carved people up, I think, against Watford in the first year he was here.
No. That was his 4-goal game, I think. No, he did.
He had the goal against Roma that won the award, the curler.
Yeah.
Or was it against Everton? Yeah, he's had some obviously.
He had two. Yeah, you're right. He had one against Everton and one against Roma. It was pretty much like the same exact thing.
He scored some goals this year that are freaking otherworldly.
He's incredible.
I know.
He does not disappoint, dude. What are his stats this year? Mo Salah's putting up the same numbers he's always put up. He might be I don't know if he's top of the league, but he's definitely up there. Mo Salah leads the team in goals with 10 goals. Luis Diaz is second with 5. Guess who's third?
McAllister?
Nunez.
Oh.
Nunez has 2. Salah leads the team in assists with 6. Guess who's second?
Nunez.
Diaz with 2. It's unreal, dude. Salah has 40 shots. Guess who's second?
Nunez.
Diaz with 21. And this will be a surprise. Guess who's third on the shots list?
Szoboszlai.
Yep. 17 shots for Szoboszlai.
He just rips and blasts it into the defender.
I know, he really does. Just it's blocked every time. Guess who leads the team in tackles?
Gravenberch.
Trent. Gravenberch is third with 21. Trent has 31. That surprises me. Aerial battles 1. Van Dijk, number 1 with 40. Konate, second with 28. Diogo Jota, third with 12.
Oh, no.
What a legend.
Konate's got the highest aerial duel success rate in Europe, I think, right now.
Does he really?
Yeah.
Wow.
He's nasty.
Yeah. I mean, Gravenberch has 23 interceptions. I mean, that's really, really good. Statistically, Trent's having a great year. Um,
No, he's been really good. He needs to come back today.
I'm
I mean, we'll
no,
get the lineup in what, 45 minutes, an hour?
right.
No, 30 minutes. The game's at 11
Yeah, I
Eastern.
believe the game's at 11. And so Slot confirmed during his pre-match press conference on Thursday that Trent is ready to return to the Reds starting lineup following injury. So that's what he
Yeah,
said. So he's likely starting today.
I think he could have
But
played against Madrid, but it was just important to hold him out because the game's not as important as today.
no, I agree. I agree. And we played, you know, really, really well. But Kelleher, oh man, he's just been so, so, so good. And I'm trying to think if there's I'm trying to see here if there's any other injury news. No, everything's good. So yeah, that starting lineup. I think Jones starts. I think Trent starts. For Man City, who do you think plays for Man City, bro?
Dude, I don't even know who's fit over there.
So
I have no idea.
Jones and Doku are going to be a game time decision. Looks like Kovacic is out. Let me pull that article back up.
Kovacic is out. Rodri's obviously out.
Yeah, Kovacic, Rodri.
I heard Walker could be back. De Bruyne would probably play. Vardiol might be out. Doug was saying they're going to drop Ederson for Ortega. Dude, I don't know. I don't even know. We'll
Why
see.
would they just drop? Why would they drop Ederson?
I don't know. I heard Doug was saying he didn't have a good game midweek. He made some mistakes, so he thinks it might be tactical. Now, I trust Doug, but
I do.
Doug's the only person I've heard that from, so I'm not sure.
Wow, if Doug calls that would be crazy, but that would be classic Pep overthinking, dude. I mean, we're going.
Yeah, it really would because this guy Ortega.
Pep thinks he's a genius. He's like, all right, Ortega, you're starting, and then we put 6 past City. Could you imagine, bro? Steve froze on me. What happened?
I got booted. I don't know.
No, I hear you, but I don't. Oh, there we go. He's back. He's back. So, but yeah, Steve, do you have any closing thoughts, man? We talked about a lot today between the contracts, the injuries, and then of course the big match. I mean, this last week. I mean, I think we have the derby coming up too. This is just prime football. I mean, Madrid, City, Everton. I mean, this is great stuff. And Liverpool.
No, it doesn't get any better.
No.
I hate these matches against City. That dude, I just get so stressed. They're typically good games, but man, I hate playing Manchester City. I hate it. It's just so freaking stressful. But again, Kyle, they haven't let us down yet, aside from Forest, but I don't even count that. In the big matches, they've stepped up. Arsenal draw, okay, whatever. That first half sucked. Second half was a lot better. I think it could be different. I think Slot's legit. And I think you're going to see a different type of game today. If we beat them comfortably, I'm not talking 5-1, but just a comfortable 2-0, maybe 3-1, I'm going to feel pretty darn good about us winning the league. Like this early, I'm going to start riding that train.
I think if we beat them comfortably, I think if we beat them at all, I don't care how we beat them. If we beat Man City, Arne Slot is put a stamp on it legit. Okay? That's where I'm at with that. In terms of whether we're going to win the league or not, it'll give us a lot of breathing room and make things a lot less stressful. I'll tell you that right now. Because we'll go 11 points clear?
Yes. Of
City. Right. That's a big gap to have on City. And I saw someone here in the chat also said that, Arsenal is more of a threat to us than City are. Maybe on current form, but dude, City are going to pull out of this. I mean, there's no question. The talent on their team is it's way too good. Now, obviously, injuries, play a role in that. But Steve, what's your take on that with us either battling Arsenal or City?
I mean, I think right now it's true that Arsenal are a bigger threat today. They only have 2 losses, right, in the league.
Yeah.
I think City have more, and hopefully City will have another one today. But then we get to the point where we root for City to beat Arsenal next time they play.
Of
Which
course.
will be interesting. Because I don't want Arsenal to finish second.
No.
If we win the league, I want City to finish second. I want to beat City.
Right,
to
because
the
then we
trophy.
beat City. We don't beat Arsenal.
But I also don't. I like the fact that it's been a 2-horse race. It's almost like, okay, City, they have our number from a trophy standpoint, right? But there's also the element of like the charges that they have. I don't want Arsenal to think that they're legit here. Like, you're in this conversation still.
Right.
I want them dissolved away from this. So that's how I feel.
I think we both agree with that, because I don't think of Arsenal as in the race, even though they are. I think of City and Liverpool as just a tier above Arsenal, right? And
It's also the Arsenal fans are delusional.
Oh yeah, for the most part.
They're delusional. I saw a guy on AFTV recently said that there's a possible X amount of points left. If they don't drop a single point, then they'll win the league comfortably. They said whoever wins the league this year is going to win it with like 85 points. And they were doing a bunch of they literally think mathematically like they're the favorites. It's nuts. They're delusional, dude. They're absolutely delusional. Arsenal fans are a different breed.
Oh, they're no question. Different breed. Completely ridiculous. I agree with that. But they have a good team. And they have a team that can definitely compete at the top of the table. But if Liverpool cannot fall into a slump that City have had over the last few Premier League games, I think that there's not even going to be a talk of Arsenal. That's what I think. I think Liverpool hopefully can hold this out and pull away with the Premier League. Yeah, Everest.
But that's all I got. That's all I got for today.
Absolutely, Steve. Appreciate you being here. I'm glad to have my voice back. I'm glad that everyone was in here to watch the match preview, guys. Go ahead and get ready. Get your popcorn ready. It should be an excellent match. Edge of your seat stuff. I'm starting to sweat a little bit. I'm a little nervous, but as soon as kickoff happens, I'll be dialed in, Steve. So thanks for being here, man. Thank you to all of our channel members for supporting the channel. We appreciate it. We couldn't keep doing it without you guys. And until next time, Reds, take care.